So Sayadaw has been taking time to explain Dhamma because the mental defilements that have been following throughout the samsara, in order to subtract or in order to get rid of these mental defilements which have been following throughout the samsara, Sayadaw wants you to know the easy way to get rid of these defilements. That's why Sayadaw has been taking time to explain about Dhamma. So there are two kinds of Dhamma. The first one is Amisa Dhamma. It means material offerings. So it is not enough just to do Amisa Dhamma, offering material things only, but it is also important to do Abhaya Dhamma. Abhaya Dhamma means offering dangerlessness or fearlessness to other beings. So other beings, in order to dispel the fear or danger of other beings, so that they will not have to be afraid of danger, one needs to control oneself. One needs to control so that these beings will not meet with danger, so that they can live fearlessly. In order to do Abhaya Dhamma successfully, before doing this Abhaya Dhamma successfully, when one is doing Amisa Dhamma, offering material things, it is important to do this Amisa Dhamma, offering material things, in a very pure way. By doing this Amisa Dhamma in a pure way, it will help to do the Abhaya Dhamma successfully, and it will be easier to do Abhaya Dhamma. So today, Sayadaw will explain about the ornaments, costume or jewelry of life. There are 4 kinds of ornaments. Sayadaw will go on to explain on these ornaments of life. So first of all, Sayadaw will explain about the ornament or the costume or jewelry of life. So throughout one's life, it is important to have cosmetics or costume or jewelry. So however a person may be beautiful or handsome, if she does not dress up neat and tidy, then she will look awkward and ugly. So if the person dresses herself properly, neat and tidy, then she will look very beautiful or handsome, that other people do not want to look away from him or her, cannot take the eyes away from him or her. So in the same way, people need this costume or jewelry or cosmetic in order to beautify their life. So what are the costumes of this cosmetic of life? Is wholesome deeds. There are many kinds of wholesome deeds, such as dana kusala, doing dana, observing morality, controlling the mind, and also controlling the mind to make the mind develop and concentrated with samadhi bhavana, and also to develop knowledge of true nature from the very basic, stage by stage. So this is Vipassana bhavana. So these wholesome deeds can give result depending on how much good, one does. So these wholesomeness, these wholesome deeds uplift the status of a human life. These wholesome deeds uplift the person stage by stage, so that his or her life will be beautiful. So by sharing one's belongings, wanting others to use them, wanting them to share, wanting the things to share with other people, wishing that may they get what they need. So in this way, by doing dana in a pure way, this pure dana will bring benefit, bhoga sampatti. So as a result of this pure dana, she will become well-to-do, well-off in life. So if she is well-off or well-to-do in life as a result of dana, she will not be inferior. And being well-to-do, being well-off, she is also able to help others. Having these circumstances, having this wealth, so that one can help others, one can support and help others, then she will not be inferior. And also, in one's religion or belief, she can support the sasana, so that she can support the sasana just like other people. So in this way, she will not be inferior. So this pure dana will make the person's life smooth, comfortable, and she will be well-to-do, well-off in every assistance, so that she will not be inferior. So in this way, dana is one of the costume or cosmetic of life. However, one may be well-to-do, well-off, can support in the sasana, but she is not a real, a genuine human just by being well-off or helping others. So dana alone is not connected with moral conduct. It is relating to moral conduct in an indirect way, but it is not directly connected with moral conduct. But if one can perform dana systematically, this dana will become noble, and it can open the path of moral conduct. So a systematic dana can support the person so that she can walk on the path of moral conduct. But by doing mere dana alone, she cannot practice morality. So by doing a mere dana, she cannot be called a real human. So a person is called a human based on his or her moral conduct. If a person does not practice moral conduct, then she is not a real human. So as a human, it is important to be a true human. It is important to have a humane mind, and it is also important to be extraordinary person, extraordinary human. So in order to become extraordinary person, you now have the opportunity to practice, so do not miss this opportunity. However, a person is educated and work hard and become materially well off, and also having help or support others, but if she does not practice sila, morality, if she does not have this basic precept, then she cannot be called a true human, and she is not in the list of noble people. So it is very important to observe precept. It is very important to practice moral conduct. So this morality is also one of the cosmetic or ornament of life that will make a person's life more beautiful. So the nature of human being is dukkha patikula. They dislike or they hate suffering. And sukha kama, they want happiness and well-being. So it is human nature not wanting, hating physical and mental suffering. They are afraid of physical and mental suffering. If they face danger, if they face suffering, then their mind becomes agitated, perturbed. And it is also the nature of human, sukha kama, wanting well-being, happiness and comfort. So we are among the beings who do not like suffering, who like to have well-being, happiness and comfort. And also beings, they want to live long life, jivitu kama, they want to live. Amritu kama, they do not want to die. So every being want to live long, they do not want to die. So if someone meets a fatal kind of danger, then she will be very afraid. And she is afraid that she will be hurt by others. So every being, every human, apart from courageous martyrs, anagami, Vansvatana and arahats, apart from them, every human, every being are afraid of danger. So living in a society, living in a family, a group or among friends, it is important that one does not hurt others so that others will be afraid of the person. So only if one controls oneself so that one will not be hurting others, then will one be human. So living in a society, it is important to live in fearlessness. If there is danger, if there is lack of control, then there will be fear. So if one controls oneself, one will not be hurting others. So without control, if one is committing all sorts of transgressions, then others will be afraid of that person. These other people will be afraid. They will have mental suffering, and there will be fear in the society. So everyone in the society has the responsibility to control themselves so that they will not be disturbing others. So one should refrain from things that should be refrained. So it is everyone's responsibility to refrain from things that should be refrained. So the things that should be refrained are 3 kinds of bodily misconduct and 4 kinds of verbal misconduct. So these 3 kinds of bodily misconduct and 4 kinds of verbal misconduct, they are frightening, they are disgusting and frightening. So one should avoid oneself from doing these misconduct by body and speech. So by controlling oneself, by refraining oneself away from this misconduct by body and speech, then others will not get hurt, others will live in fearlessness. So as a human, one should have metta, loving kindness, wanting for the benefit of others. The person who has this metta, wishing for the welfare of others, she will be able to associate with others with patience, forgiveness, sacrifice, compassion, and consideration. Having metta, loving kindness, one can overcome the hatred or anger kind of dosa. By having compassion, karuna, one can overcome the cruelty kind of dosa. So, wanting the welfare of others, having compassion towards others, then one will control oneself so that others will not get hurt by him or her. If one has consideration or compassion towards others, one will refrain oneself so that there will be no danger. So if there is no danger, because one can control himself, herself, others will not be afraid. They will live in fearlessness. So one is said to be protecting others from being hurt by controlling himself, herself. So having prudence, metta and karuna, one will be able to prevent others from being hurt by controlling himself, herself, so that others will not be in fear, others will not get agitated with fear. In this way, one is said to be protecting others so that they do not get hurt, they do not suffer physically and mentally. So by preventing and protecting others from being hurt, one is also said to be controlling oneself. So controlling oneself from doing bad things, it is sila, it is morality, that one is refraining oneself from doing misconduct by body and speech. So observing sila, observing morality, is that you are preventing, you are protecting others from being hurt. So by protecting, preventing others from being hurt, it is observing sila. And also it is helping others to be happy and well. So by observing sila, there will be happiness, well-being. So the happiness, well-being and comfort will not be lost by observing morality precepts. So others will not be living in fear. There will not be any danger by lack of sila, so there will be fearlessness. So this sila, morality, will give result that one will not lose happiness, well-being or comfort. So this is the result by observing, this is the result one can get by observing sila. So if one does not want suffering, if one wants to be happy, well and comfortable, it is important to observe morality precepts. So amisa dana, offering material things, is supporting others so that they will get what they need. So in this way, offering material things is helping others, helping them to be well and happy. So it is a kind of social work, it is a kind of social wholesome deed. So Abhaya dana is offering them fearlessness by refraining from doing bad things, controlling oneself so that one is not committing this misconduct by body and speech. One is said to be protecting others from being hurt. And in the same way, by protecting others from being hurt, one automatically controls oneself. In this way, one is offering Abhaya dana, one is offering fearlessness so that others will not get hurt by him or her. So as a human, in a human society, each and every human has the responsibility to help others so that they will be well and happy. And also another responsibility of every human is to control oneself so that others will not be hurt, others will not suffer. So one needs to control oneself. It is the responsibility to control oneself so that others will not be afraid, others will stay in fearlessness. So it is it is everyone's responsibility and duty. So to observe the moral conduct, one should observe the moral conduct not as following the religion or belief, but it is every human's responsibility to observe the moral conduct. So each and every one on this earth needs to observe this moral conduct. So it can be called the world's moral conduct. And each and every one in the universe should also observe the moral conduct. So it is human discipline that every human needs to follow. So by observing moral conduct, by living according to the human discipline, one's quality will increase and also one will be morally uplifted. So the status of a human, the quality of a human has to do with the discipline that he/she follows. If the person does not follow the human discipline, then he/she will be morally degraded. So, as a human being, one needs to observe this human discipline. One needs to practice this human discipline, moral conduct, so that his or her human quality will increase. So it is something that every cultured people needs to practice. So it is the norm. These moral conduct and human discipline are the norm where where someone is decided whether he/she is a true human or not. By living according to this human discipline and moral conduct, one will be a genuine human. So, to measure whether a person is a true human or not, this moral conduct and human discipline is the norm. So every being is afraid that he/she will be hurt or tortured by others. So every being is afraid to be killed. Every being is afraid that his or her belonging would be taken by force by others. Every person is afraid that his or her daughter will be sexually harassed by others. Every man, they are afraid that their partners or their wives will be taken away by others. And everyone is afraid to be deceived. Everyone is afraid to be lied. And also, everyone is afraid to have this bad consequences of these intoxicants. So, in order to overcome the fear of the being, it is important to overcome two kinds of enmity. The first kind of enmity or enemy is akusala vira, the enmity in the form of defilements or unwholesomeness. And the second kind of enmity or enemy is pukala vira, enmity or enemy in the form of person or human. So this pukala vira, the enemy in the form of human or person, is quite distant. You rarely meet this kind of human enemy. But what a person meets all the time, what a person faces all the time is internal enemy, which is more frightening. So the internal enemy means greed, hatred, anger, delusion, envy, jealousy, lack of moral shame, lack of moral fear. So these are the internal enemies which is torturing the person continuously, all the time. So these internal enemies, people are facing these internal enemies all the time. In order to overcome this internal enemy, one should practice so that one can refrain from 3 kinds of bodily misconduct and 4 kinds of verbal misconduct. By refraining from these misconduct, one will be overcoming the internal enemy such as lobha, dosa, moha. So if one is free from the internal enemy, he, she can also be away from the human enemy. So by being free, by having victory over the internal enemy, there will not be fear. But for those who have committed bad conduct by body and speech, whenever one recalls of his or her wrongdoing, one will have fear, having fear that I have done this thing wrong. So whenever he, she recalls this wrongdoing, he, she will have fear. And his or her mind will be agitated with fear. So this is one of the dangers that one can meet by doing wrong, by doing misconduct. So the first danger is self-criticism, self-blame. And the second kind of danger one can meet is Paṇḍitā, being blamed by the wise, being left out by the wise, is called Paṇḍitā. So this is the second kind of fearful danger one can face as a consequence of misconduct. So one will be criticized and one will be looked down by others. And the third one is one will be punished by law. This is Paṇḍitā, the third kind of danger. So he, she will be punished by the authorities. So this is the third kind of danger one can face. And the fourth one is, as a consequence of one's wrongful volition, he, she will have bad consequences in this very life and also in the next existences that are to follow. So he, she will have bad results. He, she will be reborn in lower existences. So this is the fourth danger one can face by doing misconduct. So there are also other kinds of danger, but the most obvious ones are these four. So if one is not free from enmity, then one will not be free from danger. So if one can have victory over the enmity, then one will be free from danger. So being free from enmity and danger, he, she is called Abhaya or Abhaya. Having moral shame and moral fear, one will be able to avoid misconduct. Having compassion towards others, one will protect others from being hurt. So however way it is, whether refraining oneself with moral shame, refraining oneself from doing misconduct with moral shame and moral fear, or protecting others from being hurt with compassion, however way it is, one is helping others so that they will not be in fear or they will not be agitated with fear. So in this way, one is making others well, happy, in comfort. So this Abhaya Dana is very precious, very valuable. So by controlling oneself, there will be inner peace within oneself as well as making the surrounding peaceful. Having victory over the internal enemy, then one will be free from enmity, and also there is no chance that Pogala Vira, enemy in the form of person, will arise. So by overcoming the internal enemy, there is no way he, she is going to have a enemy in person, enemy in the form of person. So if one is free from enmity and danger, there will not be any fear. So in the Metta chanting that is recited, Aviro Hotu means may he or may she be free from internal enmity, may he, she be away from internal enemy, and may he, she be free from enemy in the form of person, so that may they be away from danger. So this metta, radiating metta as Aviro Hotu, is very precious kind of metta towards others. So in Dhammapada, it is said that a person kemi veri avayo Paṇḍitō hoti. It means
Paṇḍitō pavasati.
It means that a person who is away from internal enemy, who is peaceful because he, she has victory over the internal enemy, and also who is free from enemy, external enemy, who is free from fear, is called a Paṇḍitā, a wise person. So the person who can overcome the internal enemy is called Averi, and he, she will not face any danger. And based on his or her action, others will not get hurt, so others will live in fearlessness. So the person who is free from internal enemy is called a Paṇḍitā, a wise person. So a person refraining from misconduct with moral shame and moral fear, and protecting others from being hurt with compassion. However way it is, one is overcoming the nearest internal enemy. So it is more important to have victory over the internal enemy. Having a victory over the internal enemy, one will solve personal problems as well as solving the problem that is met in the society. So by overcoming this internal enemy, there will be peace, internal peace, and there will also be peace in the surroundings. If one tries to have victory unlawfully, then there will be social problems, there will be many problems in the society, and there will be grief, sorrow, and a lot of mental suffering. So by observing morality, he, she will be a wise person. He, she will be in the list of wise person by observing morality. However, one may be educated, well off with material wealth. If he, she cannot have victory over internal enemy, then this person is not a wise person. However, one may not have any education, worldly education, but if he, she can overcome the internal enemy, he, she is a wise person. It is a very virtuous deed to overcome the internal enemy. So one should maintain one's own virtue by having victory over the internal enemy, so so that as a world being, one is contributing to world peace. And the world will become very peaceful if the population of such kind of people increases. So this will be all for today.